Hey there, this is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. As you can see, Willpower has light in the background. So where are you at, man?
I am in not so sunny California right now.
Not so sunny California. That's because the sun is about to
Yeah.
go down. That's why.
Yeah, it was a little overcast today also. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
way better than the 30 degrees I was in last week.
yeah, for sure. We're in 60-degree weather today, so it's not that bad. We got a good show for you guys today. We do have first baseman today. We're gonna go over that. We're gonna go over the sleepers, the comeback, and am I forgetting one? Well, I know I am.
Bust.
The bust, and I always like that one because I think you've been hitting that one on the nail, right? The bust. I think we've been talking about the bust a lot, and I don't think we haven't hit one where it's like, oh, I don't think it's gonna hit, but I think we've been doing a good job of hitting bust. So yeah, we're gonna do that, and hopefully we give you a good list for you guys to pick up first baseman. So before we get into it, I do want to show you something before we decide to go in there. I know we talked about the rules last week, and one of the things that we didn't show you because we didn't have pictures is that one of the bases, how big they're getting. So I mean, I just saw this because Cora has been in the news a lot lately, and if you don't know who Cora is a guy from the manager from the Red Sox, and he's been saying that the base looks like a pizza box. So I mean, you see the difference in the bases. The top one is the one that was there last year. The new one is the one in the bottom one. So you guys can see the difference. So it does make a difference though. Will, do you see the picture?
Hello?
Yo, oh, thought I lost you there. I think
Yeah.
I got
My
lost too.
yeah, I think both of our internet connection went out for a little while.
Weak. That's the saturated internet here in California.
Yeah, it must
Nah.
be.
Yeah, so you see the picture, the bases do make a lot difference now, man. Look how big they are compared to what they were last year, dude. And we're gonna see a lot of stolen bases this year, and it's gonna be a different baseball. The new rules should help MLB increase fan base. That's what they're looking for, and increase like stolen bases, hits, doubles, all kinds of stuff. They should be producing a lot more runs. But more than that, let's go ahead and start with the list, man. The top first basemen. I know you have the list ready. Unless you want to say something else about the bases, about the pizza box base.
Nah, I think Alex Cora said enough already.
Yeah, he's been saying a lot, a lot. I don't know why is he on the news too much lately. I don't know why. He was there last year, right? I don't know
Probably because
why.
he's the only one that actually talks. The other guys are actually more focused on managing.
Nah, that's true. Maybe he needs to get out of the camera. All right, well let's go, man. Let's start with the top first basemen, and this is for fantasy baseball. This is Will's actually list that he came up with, and we should start from the back moving forward, right?
Yeah, if that's how you want to do it.
I think so, man. That way is more anticipation, and then like who is number one for your list. So let's start from the back all the way. That's what she
All right,
said.
so starting at number 12, because since most fantasy leagues are 12 teams, I like to start with 1 through 12. But going backwards, number 12, I have CJ Crone.
CJ Crone.
Um, really the only thing I like about this guy is that he plays half of his games in Colorado.
Okay.
If he was playing on any other team, he used to be on the Rays. He wasn't anything special. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just the Colorado effect. It just helped his career so much. 29 home runs last season. It's definitely up from a few seasons ago. Um, the only reason why I have him 12th on this list and not any lower is because after 12, man, the first base crop, it just kind of just plummets from there. There's not really a lot of high end talent towards the bottom. So I think after that you got guys like Josh Bell, Guys that you would want to have more as your corner infielder option
Hmm.
in fantasy rather than your starting first baseman.
Okay. Well, CJ Crone, you said number 12. What ADP is he currently in right now?
He's at a 130, so pretty late
130?
in the draft. Yeah, pretty late in the draft. If you get to CJ Crone and you don't have a first baseman yet, it's pretty rough for you at that position. So I would definitely swoop up CJ Crone once the guy that goes before him is gone, Anthony Rizzo.
Okay.
Then I would definitely pick up Crone because you don't want to be stuck with the bottom of the barrel guys.
Gotcha. But he did get 102 RBIs last year. Just want to do just a quick mention. And you did say it's a
Yeah,
Colorado effect, right?
definitely.
So I mean, it's
But if
not
you
it's
look at
not.
his batting average and look at his batting average and on base percentage, 257 batting average with an expected batting average of 244. So even with that Colorado effect, he's not really getting the results that you would hope he would. He definitely has the power. 29 home runs is nothing short of amazing, but
Of course.
in Colorado, these guys should be hitting a little bit more than 29 home runs.
All right. So we have a question right now, and it's how about Josh Bell? It's it.
Josh Bell kind of fell apart when he was with the Padres. When he was with the Nationals and before that with the Pirates, he actually showed some signs of greatness. But
Yeah.
now I think the Padres, like we keep on bringing up the Padres, and it's because there's it's really hard to say good things about the way that they manage and coach these players. Because Josh Bell was on the rise, and then when he got traded to San Diego, they just kind of they don't develop their players well. And he was still young enough where he could still develop. We've seen the type of power that he has, and the potential for a decent batting average, but the Padres just didn't bring it out in him.
Yeah. And we've seen he has a lot of power, dude. Like this guy can rake, but it's just putting it together for him. With the Padres, we saw kind of like a decline, and it could have been that there was a lot of stars in that team, and maybe that's why. But I mean, this year should be different for him. A
Yeah,
266 batting average.
playing in
Yeah,
Cleveland, it might help him, a bit, just kind of getting out of that San Diego mindset. I don't know what it is about that part of Southern California. It is very laid back, so maybe the team just kind of plays that way also. I mean, we saw all the hype with the Slam Diego going on a couple seasons ago. But last year we didn't really see anything special. We thought maybe they were going to give the Dodgers a run for their money, but that didn't really happen. Um, we'll see how he is in Cleveland. Cleveland's actually a pretty solid team. I would expect him to do better on Cleveland than he was in San Diego, but I'd still use him as my corner infield option. If he's your starting first baseman, it's a pretty weak spot for you. But the good thing is there are a lot of rookies that are coming up as first baseman. So if you do have to start a guy like Josh Bell as your starting first baseman, once these other guys come up, these prospects, first base prospects, if you can get a hold of one of them and kind of just hold on to them, keep them on the bench, those are the guys that you want to target, guys with big upside.
yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on from Josh Bell and go on to number 11. Who's your number 11
So,
on there?
as I said earlier, the guy that's going right before CJ Crone, actually one spot ahead of CJ Crone, is Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
I kind of have these guys both like around the same um, value level. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, ADP shows it as well, 129 and 130. But the best part of Anthony Rizzo's game now, playing in Yankee Stadium, is that lefty bat and the short porch in right field. That's going to be his biggest escape from being bust.
Yeah.
So the 224 batting average did nothing from last year. I feel like he sold out a lot of contact for some power. 32 home runs. We haven't seen that from Anthony Rizzo in a while. So
That's true.
he definitely had some increased pop in his bat. That short porch in right field helped out a lot. 338 on base percentage. That's pretty significant considering his 224 batting average. That's over 100 points higher. And that's what we really like to see. He only had 101 strikeouts for the season. So it's not really like he was swinging and missing a lot. He just didn't have the quality of contact that we remember from Anthony Rizzo from, his prime with the Cubs, and
Yeah. That's where he was hitting 30 plus home runs. I mean, 32,
yeah.
31. And I believe the 2016 season, which was the one that they won the World Series, he had 32 home runs as well. So that's a good pick at 11. I think he does play in Yankee Stadium, which is a shorter field, like you mentioned. So number 11, I think, is a good spot for him. I think it's a very good spot for him. So
Yeah, his strikeout percentage went up from 15.1 to 18.4 last year. He's not a big strikeout guy. So even 101, even though that's not a lot of strikeouts for the season,
yeah,
we should be seeing better from him. Hopefully, after he's already been on the Yankees for a season, going into this second season with the Yanks, and I think they gave him an extension as well. I think they
yeah.
gave him like a 2 or 3. So hopefully he feels a little bit more comfortable playing in Yankee Stadium. I want to see a little bit more line drives from Anthony Rizzo, not trying to swing so hard. I feel like he was trying to swing out of his shoes too much throughout the whole season. So
Well, the shift is going away, so he should be able to get a little bit more hits than he did last year. So that batting average might go up a little bit. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead and move on to number 10, man. Who do you have in number 10 for first baseman?
So number 10 is a hometown boy from where I actually lived, and that's Christian Walker from the Diamondbacks.
Mm-hmm.
His current ADP is 118. So before I kind of go into Christian Walker, I just want to say that I almost completely agree with current ADP on all these guys. There's one guy that I'm kind of iffy about. I feel like he's going a little bit earlier, but I'll talk about that later on when we get to him. So Christian Walker going at 118. He's been in the league for about 5 or 6 years now. The problem is he's 32 years old. So he
Mm,
was an old rookie when he first came up, and it's not even his fault. It's
yeah,
the Diamondbacks. They just held on to Goldschmidt for so long, and they had Christian Walker in the minor leagues for so long that he didn't really get a chance until Paul Goldschmidt ended up going to the Cardinals. So
and that's
now
when.
that he actually has a chance to be an MLB, he's going to be a free agent soon. But the problem is he's going into his age 32 season. Man strength is going to start going down. He's slipping out of his prime. So 36 home runs last year with a 242 batting average. To do that in Arizona, that's huge.
It is. It is.
When
It is.
they installed that humidor in Arizona, the power numbers just kind of dropped very drastically. To see that 36 home runs from him, imagine what he could do in any other ballpark. Basically, Arizona is actually the worst ballpark for home runs.
Well, he is playing in the West, so he is going to be able to go to Colorado, which we did talk about the Colorado effect, and he's going to have a few games there. But in Arizona, yeah, he can hit. He had what 36 home runs last year, but that
36 home
242,
runs.
yeah, that 242 batting average is kind of, But you have him at 10, right? Is this number 10?
Yeah, number 10.
Yeah, if you fall back so much so far, like not getting the first baseman, I don't think it's a bad pick. I honestly kind of agree with you. You're going to see he does have two stolen bases, so maybe he's going to increase that by two. Have four stolen bases if that,
It's
which is not
possible with these bigger bases now.
the pizza boxes on on the field. Yeah, so RBIs might increase, runs might increase. The shift. I don't know if this guy was getting played the shift and
Actually, so what I was hearing about Christian Walker is right-handed bat.
yeah,
That most of the time, like the banning of the shift is going to help out a lot of bats. But they're saying that he hit into the shift more than any other righty bat in the league.
dang.
So this might actually be pretty significant for him. Hopefully, his batting average can go up at least 10 points, possibly even higher.
Can he be a candidate to be no, I don't know about a comeback, but a sleeper?
Yeah, yeah,
He could be a potential sleeper, right?
he could be a potential sleeper, especially because going around 118, if he can increase those power numbers and make his batting average go up a bit, I could see him as a sleeper.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9, man. I feel like number 9 is going to be a known player.
So number 9, yeah, especially in my home, not my hometown, but where I live, Reese Hoskins. He's going at number 106, ADP 106. I kind of compare him to Christian Walker. They have actually very similar numbers from last year. Reese Hoskins' power is a bit down,
Yeah.
but I feel like Reese Hoskins had a pretty bad groin injury in 2021, and coming back from that, he was on the 60-day IL in 2021, and coming back into the 2022 season, I think that kind of hindered him a little bit in the beginning of the season because in 443 plate appearances in 2021, he hit 27 home runs. So if you give him another 200 plate appearances, that number should be up to about 35. You know, he's
Yeah.
like on a 35 home run pace. Last year, he only hit 30 home runs, and that's in 672 plate appearances. In the beginning of the season, you know, a lot of Phillies fans remember, you even had him on your fantasy team, you'd remember that he wasn't really playing so well. It wasn't until like around the All-Star break that he really started like playing a little bit better.
Yeah.
Who knows if it's the temperature, the the weather, or if he just um, wasn't right yet. You know, coming back off of that injury. So just seeing the difference between the two seasons, I see him as a pretty typical 240 to 250 bat um, with pretty significant pop. I'd like to see. I'd predict that he gets 35 home runs this season if he can stay healthy.
Nice. And the Phillies do have a good squad, so it should be a pretty interesting pick. Potentially another good sleeper there because of the lineup that he's in, the shift as well. So um, I think with fantasy baseball this year, it's going to be kind of interesting to see all these players because the shift is not on. All these rules that are changing for MLB is kind of helping the hitter, so it's going to have more impact on the hitter this year. So I mean, I don't think not. I mean, I don't think having this guy on your team will be something that's gonna not help you. I think it's gonna help you completely. All right, let's go
No,
ahead. Hmm.
if you look at the 2021 numbers compared to last year, his launch angle did go down. It went from 21.7 down to 18.1, and a 3-degree difference is a pretty big deal. You know, Philly Stadium, Citizens Bank is it's a home run ballpark.
It
So a
is.
guy like this with pretty significant power hits the ball extremely hard, 90.1 exit velocity on average. This guy should be hitting with some more pop in his bat. He did have 33 doubles, so that's actually pretty good. I'd like to see some of those doubles with hopefully an increased launch angle go out more than stay in the park.
You did say he was in an injury though, and that could be part of it, right? He
Yeah,
did
I
have an
think his
injury.
his mechanics just weren't right for the beginning of the season. But now that he's healthy, he had a completely healthy 2022. I think he'll come back with his mechanics right and yeah, be ready to hit in the middle of the order.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 8 on
So
your
number
list.
8, this one was a little hard for me. I it was between two
You still have
guys,
time to change it.
and um, I'm yeah, I'm gonna switch them.
All right, so
I'm
you
gonna
don't
go
agree
with
with the current ADP then? Go ahead.
yeah, I'm gonna switch these next two guys. So
All right.
current ADP is 92 for Vinny Pasquantino, who is a rookie for the Kansas City Royals. Um, he's a big dude, man. 6'4", 245. He's only 25 years old. So he's entering his like man strength years. It's not the full potential yet, but we'll see what this guy can do in a couple of seasons from now. But so last year he hit 295 with 10 home runs and 298 plate appearances.
Okay.
So after Abreu was gone, earlier in the draft, Vinny Pasquantino, it seems like one of the only first basemen that I'd rather have around. Actually, one of the only players that I'd rather have that are available in the draft. There's one guy going a little bit later that's injured. That's Bryce Harper. I would much rather have Bryce Harper than Vinny Pasquantino, but it also depends on what my outfield looks at the time. You know, if I already have like one of the top outfielders out there, like let's say I have Mookie Betts,
Yeah.
then maybe I'll kind of target Vinny Pasquantino rather than Bryce Harper because I already have one solid outfielder right there. But
Uh,
it also depends on if I get one of these guys, one of the first basemen that's going earlier in the draft.
yeah.
So
If you already
Vinny
have picked one.
Pasquantino,
Mhm.
exactly. Vinny Pasquantino, he's supposed to be the top first base prospect right now. And you know, last season, he showed what he could do. Like I said, 295 batting average with 10 home runs. He was on pace for about 25 home runs. So that's a little low for a first baseman, corner outfielder, or corner infielder. You want to have some more pop in your bat.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, 10 home runs and 10 doubles. So I'd like to see at least the doubles increase a little bit, you know, but playing in Kansas City, it's not the easiest place to hit home runs over there as well.
All right. Well, he only played 72 games and he had 10 home runs out of those. Like if you go a complete season, he might get you 25, 28 average, right?
Yeah.
It looks like. So, it's a little bit lower than the guys you just mentioned at 9 and 10. So, why is he low? Like why is he higher on the fantasy pool? Like why is
It's really just the minor league track record because if you go back to 3 years in 2022 in the minors, he hit 18 home runs.
yeah,
So he spent half the season in the minors, 18 home runs. If you include that and plus the 10 home runs that he hit, then that's a
28.
total of 28. So
Gotcha.
28 is actually a pretty good number for a corner infielder.
Yeah.
The season before that, he had a full season in the minors in 2021. He hit 24 home runs with 37 doubles.
Okay.
So that the 37 doubles, that's actually the thing that sticks out to me the most because, you know, at that time he was only 23 years old, probably 22, 23 years old,
Wow. He's
hitting
young.
37 doubles that young.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty significant. He had an on base percentage of 394. So this guy walks a ton, in addition to, you know, getting a lot of hits. So he's definitely up there. I just it's hard to trust rookies. So there's other guys that I would definitely like to target before I get Vinny Pasquantino, unless you're in a keeper league. You know,
Yeah.
if you're in a keeper league, this is the guy that I'm trying to target.
Gotcha. And don't forget to mention that he had a 295 batting average and 34 strikeouts in those 72 games, which is not
That's
that
really
high.
good.
It's a really good. So I
That's
mean,
Yeah,
now
that's
I see
really good
why
strikeout numbers. Over a whole season, that would be less than 100 strikeouts.
less than 100 strikeouts. Yeah, because you're talking about 162 games. So all right, let's go ahead and see why you switched him up with number 7.
So number 7, I have Nate Lowe with an ADP of 99. So the reason why I put Nate Lowe a little bit ahead of Vinny Pasquantino
Mm-hmm.
is because of one number, and that's his 27 years old. So we always talk about 27, 28 years old being the man strength years. Going into his 27 year old season,
Yeah.
I think that's going to be pretty significant for him. He had a 302 batting average last season. This guy, he doesn't get enough credit, man. Like a lot of people don't talk about this guy, and it's mainly because he's on the Rangers. But the Rangers lineup actually looks pretty decent. You know, it's pretty solid this season. So the 302 batting average of 27 home runs, I'd like to see that number increase a little bit. But now
Yeah.
going into that man strength year, it's possible we could see 30 home runs from Nate Lowe. The 74 runs and 76 RBI. Hopefully, the guys that are hitting in front of him, Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, you know, they can get on base at a pretty decent clip, so he can increase those RBI numbers. And then Adolis Garcia hitting right behind Nate Lowe. I feel like that's going to be his chances to score a lot of runs as well.
Yeah, and I do see he had 27 home runs, which is going to help the Rangers, and that lineup is pretty stacked for on paper. Now they just have to put it on the field. Like, I just feel like the Rangers should be able to make some noise now that they have the Grom. But even because of the Grom, not I think he had left side soreness or something like
I
that.
think it's that oblique soreness.
Oblique soreness. So that's not a good sign for for him. But it's still just spring training. They still haven't even haven't the whole team hasn't reported yet. So I mean that's another topic for another day. Whenever we hit the pitcher spot, we're gonna definitely talk about DeGrom and what pick to pick him up. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 6, man. Who do you got in number 6 in your list?
So number 6 is Jose Abreu, and just to get it out there now, um,
Hmm.
Jose Abreu is actually my sleeper for this season. So he's going at number 70 overall. That's a big drop from last season. And I
Yeah.
understand why. He only hit 15 home runs last season. He had a great batting average, 304 batting average. His expected batting average was 296. So it's not like it
Hmm.
was very far off.
Yeah.
I think this guy, so his batting profile almost looks exactly the same, except for two things. His K percentage was down from 21.7 to 16.2, which is why his batting average was so high as it was. He sacrificed some power for contact, I think, and the launch angle went from 10.4 down to 8, and that's actually the lowest of his career. So I think that if he can increase that launch angle, especially playing in Houston now, a big righty bat like that, righty bats play very well in Houston because of the short,
Left field.
not the short wall, but in left field
Yeah.
exactly. Left field is actually pretty easy to hit out of right there. So I think Jose Abreu is actually going to surprise some people and possibly get back to his previous 2021 numbers.
That's crazy because I saw the projected for 2023. He should be able to hit 20 home runs this year. So
I'm
imagine
thinking more
him
like 30.
30 home runs. Well, it
Yeah.
is a short left field, and he is playing with a stacked lineup like the Astros are. So
Dude, RBIs galore, runs and RBIs galore. This guy's going to be an easy lock for 100 runs, 100 RBI, probably more, maybe like 110 or 110 115, something like that.
dang, that's a lot of
So
that's
that's
pretty big.
why, yeah, the park change for him, the lineup change for him, that's the main reason why I have this guy as my sleeper.
Hmm.
I'm definitely targeting Jose Abreu. Um, Especially like in a snake draft, the
Gotcha.
draft that we're going to do, the auction draft, it's going to be a little bit difficult because you're spending your draft dollars, your fab budget. So
Gotcha.
it changes strategy a little bit. But for most of the people that are watching or listening, um, I would definitely target Jose Abreu as soon as the next few guys that we're talking about are gone.
For sure. Well, he is entering his age 36 year. He's a little bit up there, but like Will mentioned, he's going to play in Houston. Minute Maid Park. It's still called Minute Maid. I'm not sure. You know how they
I
changed
think it is,
ballpark's
yeah.
name? Yeah. The left field wall is a little bit shorter than it is out in Chicago or anywhere else that he has played. So that's going to help out. All right, we're going to reach
Well,
number
plus without
5.
the wind too, there's a lot of times when he was hitting them in Chicago, and the wind would just blow it
Man,
back into the stadium.
that's crazy, dude. How Chicago? I mean, I don't know if you heard, but they're gonna. I think they're looking into making a stadium for the Chicago Bears, the football team, in a dome. So it wouldn't be a bad idea if the baseball teams try to follow suit. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that they should have done that years ago.
exactly. But they don't want to get rid of Wrigley Field, or I don't think they want to get rid of. I don't know what's the name of the White Sox stadium. I can't think of right now. But they should
Is it?
they should have. I don't know,
I
man.
don't remember either.
Yeah, it'll come up, and when it does, I'll go ahead and say it on here. All right, so let's hit number 5, man. We already got through 12 all the way to down to 6. Let's go ahead and hit the top 5 first basemen, and these are the first basemen that I'm pretty sure are pretty high on ADP, right? You should be able to get them in the first 5 rounds.
Did I miss someone? Because I'm on 4 right now.
4? No, we're on 5. You talked about Jose Abreu. Uh-oh.
Right. Oh, Carlos, where'd you go?
I'm right here.
Oh, now it's my turn.
Uh-oh.
So actually, the number 12 list I missed. I didn't turn the page over. So number
Okay.
12 was actually Andrew Vaughn from the Chicago White Sox. So he's actually going to have a lot more time at first base. Jose Abreu is gone. So we'll see some pretty consistent at bats from Andrew Vaughn. I don't really expect too much from him. We've seen what he can do, but that was also being, tossed around out in the outfield between outfield and infield. Only playing first base when Abreu was out. So I don't really expect too much from this guy. So he's going the current ADP 147.
So
Sorry,
he's
I
number
missed that
12.
guy. He's number
That's all
12.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So he's number 12. Just to clarify, he's number 12. All right. Let's move on to number 5 then. Since number 12 is not all that appealing, but you do, if you are part of the 12 man, I guess, fantasy baseball team, I think he is the top 12, so might be considering him. All right, number 5. These are the I think these are the important ones, man.
So now it's actually number 4 since we added Andrew Vaughn at the end to number 12.
Okay, so Jose Abreu was number 5.
Jose Abreu was number 5.
So he's part of the top 5. What was his ADP?
70.
70. All right, so he's probably going in like round 7, round 8.
Well, for us in a 10-team league, yeah. In a 12-team league, it's more like round 5.
Round 5. Okay, so these are the top 5 rounds, I guess. All right, so let's go number 4 then.
So going way earlier than Jose Abreu, and this is actually very surprising, is Matt Olson. Matt Olson's 29 years old. This is actually my bust pick for 2023. I don't think that he can replicate the seasons that he's had in the past. I'm hoping that the Braves can kind of bring it out in him. Considering last year was his first season with the Braves. 240 batting average with 34 home runs, 103 RBI. That's pretty significant. He just
wait, but before you continue, he's on man strength age. He's 20. He's gonna go into his 29-year-old season.
Yeah,
right?
but he's already been in man strength seasons for the last 2. So we saw in 2021 he was amazing. That was the outlier of his career. But I think he's just like the player that we saw last season is the player that we're probably going to see for the rest of his career. 240 to 250 batting average, 34, 35 home runs. He could increase his runs a bit if he stopped striking out so much. 170 strikeouts last season. Yeah, that was the 8th most in the league. He only had 113 in 2021.
Yeah, that doesn't help, especially if he's not even hitting it to the shift if he's striking out 170 times. So I think that's his worst year as far as strikeouts. But I kind of do see what you're saying, but it is the Braves. You know how the Braves always spark magic somehow, and they see something in this kid, and I mean, like I said, those 170 strikeouts is something to be concerned about, I feel, because if you're not putting the ball in play and your batting average was low before the shift and all this stuff, like then, yeah, you can't do nothing about that because strikeouts come back and haunt you. So I kind of do see what you're saying, though. I kind of do see it, but I kind of see the Braves always have that little magic, like they always have that spark that gets that player back up.
Yeah, they all need to stay healthy. Like Ozzy Albies was out most of last season, and I think that really possibly hurt his RBI numbers as well, because Ozzy Albies is a guy that hits in the top of the order. With Matt Olson hitting right behind him, that's the kind of guy that you want to hit in front of you, so that way you can drive him in, especially with the power that Matt Olson has. He's one of the hardest hitting first basemen in the league. Average exit velocity is 92.9 miles an hour. So basically 93 miles an hour. That's on average, If you're at like the 90 mile an hour plus club, like that's pretty, you hit the wall extremely well. And this guy's hitting at 93 miles an hour.
Dang. He's just hitting bullets down the line or wherever he's hitting it to.
Yeah, he needs to stop striking out and he needs to walk more. He swings and misses just way too much. And I think that last year is definitely repeatable. I don't think we're going to see that 2021 Matt Olson again.
All right. Well, you did say he was your bust. And what should you pick him at that spot, number 4?
Not at 37. I wouldn't get him at pick number 37. I would probably take him closer to like where Abreu's going. maybe like in the late 50s or early 60s range,
Yeah.
kind of like around like round five.
Would you want to be like one of those players that'd be like, you know what, I'd rather go after Abreu than I do Matt Olson?
At this price tag, definitely, I'd much rather have Abreu.
Okay, you're
But
going
I also
after
have Abreu
experience.
as my comeback player, so I
So
have high hopes for him.
that comeback or sleeper?
Um, I think both, honestly.
So you're calling them your sleeper and your comeback. All right.
No, yeah, actually, I'm gonna say Jose Abreu is my comeback, and Nate Lowe is my sleeper.
Okay. Cool. Which is not that bad. It's actually a good pick. I wouldn't put it past you because I know comeback because his numbers were a little lower, right? And why not have that guy probably hit 30 home runs in Houston? So I think comeback is correct. I think I agree with you on that one. All right, let's go ahead and go to number 3, man. We're almost done with the list, so it went pretty fast, but I think we're giving good information on here, man.
Yeah. I At number 3, I have Pete Alonso. So Pete
Okay.
Alonso we saw him hit 40 home runs last year, and just like we always say, the age 27 season is where you really like start to see that these guys.
Yeah.
28 season, he is in the middle of his. Uh-oh, did you lose me,
No, no, I got you. I'm right here.
Carlos?
I'm
Am
here.
I still there?
Yes, you're still here. Yo, I can still hear you.
There we go. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
All right.
yeah, so 40 home runs in 2022 with a 271 batting average. The 271 batting average, that one seems a little bit high for a guy like Pete Alonso. 128 Ks last season. I think that's pretty typical for his type of bat. The 271, I think that's going to drop maybe a little bit, unless the shift helps him out. But I think the 2023 season is is pretty comparable to what we saw from him in 2022. Alonso and the guy that actually goes right before him, they have actually very similar numbers in 2022 season. Alonso has a bit more pop in his bat, but like we said, he's a little bit older. He's in that man strength year where my current number 2, he's still really young. He hits the ball extremely hard. I can't wait to see what that guy does when he's 27.
So look, I got a question for you. So he had 131 RBIs last year, and that's with the bases being regular to what we know how they've been the entire time baseball existed, right? So now with the bigger bases, and now you're having Lindor going right in front of you. You have who's the next guy? Is he batting third or where's his position at? I think he's batting third,
Um,
so he's gonna have more run production. For the predictions and projections for 2023, they have him at 96 RBIs. That's lower than 131. That's pretty much like 40, no, close to 35 RBIs. That's crazy, dude. Do you agree with that?
um, that seems a little high. I think 130 is pretty hard to do. I think he's going to
Again, yeah,
be more about. Yeah, I think he's good. It's probably going to be closer to like 120, which is still
yeah,
pretty significant.
it's really good still. Like it's still up there. But 96, I think they're kind of, I don't know. And then the batting average, it went down to 261, which I understand that going down for him. But I think he was one of those players that had to shift on a lot of times. So I don't think it's gonna go down significantly, but I don't know. I could be wrong. And like you said, he is hitting man strength 28. I mean, I can't wait to see what this guy does. And he kind of did like a 40 home run quiet season. I remember. I couldn't. I don't remember him being one of those top players out there that everybody was like, oh man, he hit 40 home runs. Like maybe because Judge was hitting 62 or 63 home runs, whatever the number is. Um, that's why Pete Alonso wasn't that mentioned that much last year. But 40 home runs is a lot. I think is a
Yeah.
lot. And then 131 RBIs is good too. Like so, home runs, I know he's going to be up there. You know, the only down season he had was 2020, which is not really down season because it was only 60 games. But he hit 16 home runs in those 60 games. So that should be able to tell you something. All right. So you agree with him going at number 3? And what's his current ADP?
His current ADP is between 19 and 20. When you take like all the accounts into account, Yahoo, ESPN, CBS, when you add them up together, generally around 19 and 20 is where he's going.
So around or wherever where he's at, or the players that are around him, would you go ahead and wait and pick him up, or would you pick players that are around his ADP?
Um, in a coaches league, I think that I would definitely go for Alonso. In a points league, I think I might wait.
You might wait. Okay, cool. All right, man. Let's go ahead and go into number 2, and this one should be kind of interesting because are you gonna flip it or are you gonna leave it alone?
No, I'll leave it.
All
So
right, go.
I still have my number one as the consensus number one. So
Gotcha.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the number two first baseman going off the board. ADP is 11, so this guy's going in the first round. He had a 274 batting average last season with 32 home runs, um, 90 runs, 97 RBI scored, 92.8 exit velocity. The same that we were talking about with Matt Olson.
Yeah.
That's almost 93 miles an hour just on average. So this guy hits the ball extremely hard. This is the one that I was talking about. Like, I can't wait to see what he's going to be doing in 3 years from now. Once
Yeah.
he hits that man strength years, we're going to see an uptick in everything from this guy. I
Really?
think the biggest issue for Vlad is walks. It's not just about the strikeouts. 116 strikeouts is really not bad.
Yeah.
The quality of contact is down from 2021. He had 86 walks in 2021 and only 58 in 2022. So I really hope that he can increase his plate discipline and his launch angle. It's currently only at a 4.3, and that if you compare it to like all these other guys where their launch angle is like 18, close to 20,
Yeah.
that's huge. This guy is hitting way too many line drives and a lot of balls on the ground. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why his batting average suffers so much. If you can get that launch angle up, we're going to see a pretty significant boost from Vlad.
Gotcha. He only hit 30 home runs last year. 32 home runs. They
32?
haven't. Pro-
Yeah.
they haven't projected to hit only 31 this season, which is
Yeah, I think
kind of
it's the
off,
launch
right?
angle, man. I think it's the
That's
launch
that what it is?
angle. If he can get
Okay.
that up to like 10, maybe a little bit higher, he definitely has 50 home run potential.
Yeah, and not now, but maybe in the near future. He's only 24 years old, hitting his 25-year-old season, which is he's not at man strength yet, according to Will. Will says at
He's
20,
getting there soon.
he's getting there soon. So he's number 2. I don't think he's a bad pick. I think he's going to be a good pick. He's with a solid, really solid lineup in Toronto. So I think he's not a bad pick. Do you agree with him being number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's go to number 1, man. Who do you have at number 1?
Number one is our guy, Freddie Freeman,
Okay.
currently going at ADP number 9. He's 33 years old, so he's a little bit on the older side as well. But dude, this guy is the most consistent bat in baseball. He
Okay.
just constantly hits over 300. Has a pretty decent pop. He only had 21 home runs last season, but I think that's just the park factor. Hitting in Atlanta is completely different from hitting in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Dodger Stadium is known as a pitcher's ballpark,
Yeah.
and playing half his games there, of course, it's going to bring his power numbers down. But he had 47 doubles, led the league in doubles last season. So
Yeah.
a lot of those wall scrapers that could have possibly been home runs in basically every other stadium turned out to be doubles, which is fine because the Dodgers lineup is just so stacked that where he hits in the order, either number 2 or number 3, he has guys in front of him that he could knock in and guys behind him that could knock him in.
Yeah. And his on base percentage is a 407, dude. You mentioned that. That's pretty good. And then his batting average was one of the top in the league all year until September. It kind of started fading away a little bit.
Yeah.
But he had his numbers pretty well. Like you said, the home runs 21. I mean, you're gonna have to trade off something, right? You're gonna either trade off home runs for doubles, for RBIs, batting average. What is it that you're gonna do the trade off for? So he's number one on your list. I just want to go ahead and say you missed one important first baseman that I didn't. I must have been asleep, but Paul Goldschmidt, dude. Did you
Oh,
mention?
what?
Did you mention him?
That's why
He
I
must have
didn't
been
include
somewhere
Andrew
number.
Vaughn. So Paul Goldschmidt's definitely number 4. I don't know how I missed him.
Yeah, dude, that's an important first baseman, man.
Yeah, and he's not in my notes. And I was wondering, like, there's no way that Andrew Vaughn is number 12. But dude,
It's cool. That's why you have me here, man. I just couldn't
yeah.
like what Paul Goldschmidt's not on there. Um, so Paul Goldschmidt, man, tell me he's going number 4. Current ADP on this guy should be a little bit in the 50s, maybe, right, or 40s.
Yeah, let me look him up real quick.
Yeah, go for it. And then there's other first basemen. You know, you have Jarrett Wash, which you have the Angels having all their lineup coming back this year. They should be able to make some noise. And Jarrett Wash was pretty good in 2020, I want to say. I picked him up. It was one of those players where he had that magic that year. So there's a lot of first basemen out there, but I just want to mention that we didn't cover Paul Goldschmidt, and Paul Goldschmidt is one of the top first basemen. He finally won. Was he the MVP last year?
No. Was he?
I want to say he is the MVP last year.
Yeah,
Wasn't
he
he?
might have been actually. I don't remember. But yeah, looking at I can't believe I missed this guy. I thought I wrote everyone down.
Boo.
So
No, he was
Paul
the MVP
Goldschmidt
last year, dude. He
Paul
was.
Goldschmidt currently going at 21 on average, 19 in Yahoo where we play. So he had
Hmm.
a 3.817 batting average with 35 home runs.
Yeah.
Um, one
115
of the best
RBIs.
seasons of his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like we said before, you know, he's one of the older guys, 34 years old, going into his age 35 season.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like he's slowed down at all, man. 31 home runs the season before and 35 last year. You know, there's been times when we talked about him kind of like trailing off. You know, possibly the trade to the Cardinals wasn't so great for him, but as we saw last year, you know, he's still up there as one of the top guys. OBP of 404, 578 slug. I think he actually led the league in slugging percentage.
I believe so. I think that's what 578, which is not bad. Dude, but this guy has always been on top of the list for first basemen. I feel like they kind of overlooked him because he was in Arizona. And now that he's in St. Louis, they're like seeing him play more out cuz what do we say? East Coast bias, right? He played in the Diamondbacks, which is out here in the West. He was always putting up numbers. So that was this season wasn't his best season as like compared to let's look at 2015, dude. He was batting 321 and he had let's see looking at the 33 home runs. So he did better than the 2022 season. So he did not get MVP that year. He was second in votes that year, and now you're looking at 2022. He won the MVP. So he must have been an MVP like several years now. I feel he's one of those top first basemen, but he is hitting up there in age, which is the 35-year season. And for him, lucky for him that the production can keep going. He doesn't have to play first base every day. He can be a DH for the Cardinals now that the DH is part of the National League, and you know possibly it's going to stay there. And I think that's it, right? We're just going to have the DH in the National League all the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no need to have National League or American League anymore. So, I mean, whatever. That's why I guess every team is playing against each other this year for the first time since I think baseball first started. So now we're going to be able to see teams that don't ordinarily face each other in the season. We're going to get to see that going. Why is Paul Goldschmidt going at number 4? Is it just the age factor? Does it look
Um,
like he's going to slow down?
I think it's just the age factor. Yeah.
Because an MVP usually goes a lot. You know, I feel like it goes like one of the top players, right?
Well, when you're Aaron Judge, it does.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know about Aaron Judge. We talked about it last week, and you said something about Aaron Judge. Like you don't think he's gonna be the same as like he
No,
was last year?
I think that this guy is just kind of injury prone, and last year was the first time in a while that we've seen him play a complete season. So
Yeah.
I think next year is going to be hard for him to stay healthy. He's a big dude, getting into his 30s now, so that it's two things going against him.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, last mentions, man. I know we've been on here 51 minutes. We're trying to cut it, be under the hour. You already said your sleeper, your comeback, Jose Abreu. Who was your sleeper again? Is it
Nate
Lowe?
Lowe,
Nate
yeah,
Lowe. And then your bust is going to be Matt Olson.
Matt
So,
Olson.
yeah, we'll try to remember those. So if we do hit jackpot with that, man, you need to play the lottery, dude. All right. Your last mentions, man, before we sign off.
The last mention that I have, Freddie Freeman. He's also one of the only base stealers that we have at first base. Last year, he stole 13 bases, so that's actually pretty significant from a first baseman. You don't really see a lot of speed from those type of guys. So the power that you sacrifice from Freddie Freeman with only the 21 home runs last year, at least he gives you some speed as well, and that's actually it's very valuable in categories leagues.
Yeah, and he's projected to have, let's see, stolen bases 9. I think it went down. So honestly feel like it's gonna go a little bit higher because the bases are a lot bigger. Like, so you're erasing certain inches, like close plays that he got caught stealing bases. I think he's gonna be able to get those, which he's it says projected 3. Let's look at
No way.
yeah.
I think he's going to get double digit steals again.
Right. I feel the same thing. So he stole 13 this past season, and caught stealing. He got caught 3 times. So I think those 3 times are gonna hit, and it's probably like, all right. I think he's gonna be like in the 16-20 stolen bases.
I'll
That's what I feel.
Yeah, I'll say 15.
15. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think it's gonna increase, not decrease. I think it's gonna increase for him. But yeah. All right. Anything else today? That's all.
Yeah, I think that's it. I just think that you could possibly wait on first base. I think that first base is kind of loaded um, towards like the middle,
Yep.
so you don't necessarily have to go for Freddie Freeman or Vlad or Goldschmidt or Alonso. If you can get a guy like in the middle, kind of like Abreu or Vinny Pasquantino or Nate Lowe, guys that are going in, fifth, sixth, seventh round, I think that's going to be more beneficial for you because we haven't talked about third base yet, but third base, it's just it's one of the worst positions right now with the type of talent that they have. So if you have to choose between a guy like Freddie Freeman or Vlad, right next to Jose Ramirez, honestly, I think I'd rather go for Jose Ramirez.
And pick up a third baseman earlier, right?
Yeah, pick up a third
Yeah.
baseman earlier, one of the top third basemen because there's not that many, and then wait on first base for a few rounds, and then once you see one of those guys available, Abreu especially, I think he's the really good one
Yeah.
that you could pick up for this season.
Gotcha. And he's your sleeper. All right.
Yeah.
So next week we're going to talk about second basemen. Is second baseman something that we need to look forward, or something that we need? It's not a lot of second basemen out there for. Just give a
Um,
little preview for next week.
Honestly, I think the only one you really have to be concerned about is Jose Altuve. If you can get a Jose Altuve, even though he's a little bit older, I think he's the most consistent bat at second base position. Other than that, you're really just going to look at younger guys for upside. Um,
Yeah.
there's not really a lot out there. Or
Oh,
if you can get Mookie Betts, he still has second base eligibility in a few different sites.
well, we'll go over it next week, and we'll give you some good ones for the show. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them here. You can go to our Instagram. We also have TikTok. It's all Real Talk Baseball. And what's the email we have for the Real Talk Baseball on Yahoo?
It's pretty simple. realtalkbaseball@yahoo.com.
Cool. So it's the same name. All right. I guess that's it. We reached the end of our show. Went over all the first basemen, and we made a little fun of the pizza box. And we'll go ahead and post up the video, and we'll post up questions if you have them, whatever you do. And where did you? Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm not understanding. Oh, where did Goldschmidt? Oh, so I guess he's asking where did Goldschmidt go. I guess we missed him. He was supposed to go number 4.
Yeah.
So our bad on that one, but it's he's number 4. And can you give the current ADP on did we give
Goldschmidt.
one? Yeah, on Goldschmidt. I don't think we went through what ADP he was at. Let me see. Let me see if we can give us a little minute. See if we can find that for you. I know he's going on ESPN and Yahoo almost the
21.
same ADP. 21.
Yeah.
And
So
okay.
right behind Pete Alonso, because Pete Alonso's around 18.
So he's number 3 then. Pete Alonso's number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hopefully we answer your questions. Next week we're gonna come out at the same time. Will be out in back home. And
Back home.
yep. All right. So hold on, Dan. I got stuck a little bit. All right. So I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Will Powers. Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.
See you guys.